Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, 9:40 p.m., March 6, 2026. Welcome to Clown Planet News. It used to be daily. I just can't pull it off daily. First off, say Hail Mary for my neighbor, older jet. We rent in a more like almost like a retirement community. There's a few families in here. Mostly it's 55 and older. And so you hear the ambulances quite often. And today it was my neighbor, and he's our tomato guru. I don't grow tomatoes because he has 50 different varieties of it. Great guy. But he collapsed while cutting the grass. There is a group that comes by. The HOA pays for this group that comes by. So I've told him many times not to do it, but apparently wasn't doing too hot this morning. And anyway, he's at the hospital now. Everything looks like it's better, but still he's a fall away. I think he's a believer in this. I've seen he has at least the nativity scene during Christmas. So he's still there, from Jersey. Anyway, you can spare Hail Mary, and the whole family's pretty sick on all kinds of things. So anyways, Jack is his name. Give him a little shout, give him a little prayer to heaven for me, please, and that'd be nice. Anyways, welcome to the program. Hope your Friday is doing well. TGIF, right? Let's get right to it because it's probably going to be a long show, like always. When you have war, it's war. It's kind of good. But let's get your appetizers, your palates a little wet first. U.S. Catholic College, Ave Maria University. I have a couple of football shirts of theirs. A friend of the channel used to coach there. Now he's up in, they moved to Illinois or Indiana, and he gave me a few shirts. Anyway, they're establishing a new campus in Ireland at a 200-year-old Cistercian monastery that closed last year. Daniel Schreck, Chief Strategy Officer for Ave Maria University, shares more about the site. So this was on EWTN Nightly last week. I'll play a little. You don't need to hear about bombings all the time. Let's play a little bit of what's going on with them. How about that?
Historically, it's a Cistercian monastery that closed early last year. The program will be a semester long and offer students academic, spiritual, and cultural formation. Joining us now to talk more about this is Daniel Schreck, Chief Strategy Officer for Ave Maria University. Daniel, thanks so much for being here.
Couldn't help myself.
Can you tell us about where this campus will be and why the site was chosen?
Sorry, Mr. Schreck.
So it's going to be at Mount Mallory Abbey in County Waterford. And why it was chosen is, I think, frankly, it was just providential. We were looking to establish a signature study abroad program in Ireland, and through relationships that we had through the bishop in Waterford and one of our professors, it just came together. As it turned out, Mount Mallory was being vacated after 200 years by the Cistercian order. So that opened the opportunity for us in January 26th of last year to begin to have conversations with the Cistercians.
Now that's incredible. What do you hope this campus in Ireland will be able to provide to students?
The main thing is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Obviously, there's a lot of cultural similitude between Ireland and the United States. And what we're trying to do at Ave Maria University is form future saints, and future saints in a very practical way. Young men and women that are highly intelligent, hardworking, and just have that kind of, maybe even cultural background. Half of them are probably Irish, that can go to a country like Ireland and be welcoming. So they're going to go there and they're going to be established in a place that has been in that community for 200 years and hopefully give back to that community. So it's really a gift and a joint venture, if I can say that, between both the Irish people, the Cistercians, and ourselves here at Ave Maria University.
Now, you said that you hope to create future saints, which is a beautiful statement. Are there any plans to create campuses in other parts of the world?
We're going to put one.
No, it's just going to be in Ireland. That's going to be our signature study abroad. And you had asked previously why this will be different than other study abroads. And I think the main reason is we're not here to be tourists.
Anyway, I thought that was good. That's good enough. That's good news to start the show a little bit. And I couldn't help myself. When I heard Shrek, I'm like, all I could think was donkey. I wonder if he gets that a lot. Mr. Shrek. I'm sorry. Again, have some joy, have some fun. I play on it. If my last name was Shrek, I know I would hear it all day long. Shoot, I would milk it for all I had. I would play it along with it. Housing is so expensive that people earning $200,000 qualify for help. Data shared by the Post shows that home buying assistance programs across these United States have been raising their income threshold requirements. Great googly moogly. Brandon Blewett didn't think she'd fit the typical profile for somebody needing public assistance to pay for housing. She had a good job in the public relations, earning $80,000 a year. That's pretty much poverty anymore. But she qualified for DC's. Well, if you're in DC, that definitely is poverty. Shoot, you're out there with the cans and trying to get fired. Home purchase assistance program, and she ended up getting an interest-free loan of more than $84,000. She had to contribute only $1,000 from her savings to buy her $376,000 condo. Great Scott! If you're making $80,000 a year, there's no business for you getting a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 condo. Even though that's, what the prices are. It's probably a small one too. It's probably, a $376,000 condo 20 years ago would have been in Bruce Wayne would probably had like one like that. Now it's pretty much, it's got rats in it, isn't it? It's rat infested. People maybe would think of someone who else doesn't look like me or isn't in the same career field as me receiving assistance, who is also an advisory neighborhood commissioner in her Petworth neighborhood. Honestly, without the program, it probably would have been a very long time before I was able to plant roots and purchase a home here. Well, you bought a condo. It's not exactly a home. Some areas offering loans to people making more than $200,000. Down payment resource, a company that compiles information on more than 2,700 home buying programs, shared data with the Washington Compost that showed more than 115 programs have raised their income threshold requirements since 2023. But in most of those cases, the programs now offer aid to would-be homebuyers whose income is above their local median, sometimes well above. Memphis, for example, now offers down payment assistance to households with twice the local median income that purchase in designated areas of the city. San Francisco offers loans of up to $500,000 for a first-time home buyers, because maybe a home there's $1 million right there. A single person with income up to $218,200 can't apply. This just shows you how bad those areas are in price. The affordability crisis is climbing up the income ladder. Today, even if you have a six-figure income in your household, it's not easy to save money for a down payment for a home because costs everywhere are going up. The median U.S. home price now tops $405,000, which is utterly insane. You talk about a bubble. When that thing crashes, man, don't be underneath it when it hits. Some experts say widely available down payment assistance doesn't make sense as a fixed or a widespread price problem. It doesn't make monthly mortgage payments more affordable, and offering buyers more money to compete for scarce houses only raises the number of competitors. Well, there's plenty of inventory when what's needed is more supply. I don't know where these guys think there's not enough homes. There's enough homes. There'd be even more if people that were trying to sell would put them on the market because they don't want to sell right now because they're waiting for the drop. Ooh. Mark Wayne, not Bruce Wayne. The secret vehicle Ford built that CEO just gave the Pope Leo XIV. Is that Chicago? Ford employees in Chicago involved in the project said it was a career highlight and an honor. Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm making a car just for the Pope. Ford Motor Company CEO and his wife have donated to Leo XIV a secretly built, customized 2026 lowrider, Ford Explorer hybrid SUV, built in the Pope's native Chicago. Jim and Leah Farley, are they related to Chris? gifted the vehicle in the presence of the pontiff during a ceremony that took place on February 28th, marking the first time a foreign CEO has held an audience with the Pope at the Vatican. Force spokesperson Dan Barboso said the CEO took a drive with the Pope and demonstrated some of the vehicle's advanced features, as well as some of the unique nods, including to the Vatican and his Chicago upbringing. Employees at Chicago assembly plant knew the vehicle was being made for a VIP, but are just learning who it was because of confidentiality. He noticed and appreciated the personal touches, details like the Chicago skyline stitching and the Chicago flag seat tags. Yeah, the Chicago has a flag. It could be its own state, probably multiple states, because it's way too big to be ran by one person. Goes back to that at a scale thing, it's too big. All right, blah blah blah. I graduated from St. Rita in 1986. All right, well, it's cool. I don't know how did they put it on a ship, put it on a C-17. How'd they get the car over there? And what does the Pope do? You know what? Hey, he wants to tell everybody, you know what? I'm going for a midnight roll out here. No, do you have time to have a car? I wouldn't want a car for, I don't know. I haven't been to Rome ever. So here's Chris Jackson retweeting Pope Leo XIV, who tweeted out, would you imagine what a world without wars would be like? Pray together. People mocked the Pope for this. There was plenty of people that would say, oh, this came from John Lennon's song, Imagine. He already wrote that song. So we're now, just because he says we got to pray for peace, we don't want war. Now we got to be, because we hate the guy, we got to look for it. No, we want war. It doesn't. He could come out and say 2 + 2 = 4, and say yes, he said some bad things. I guarantee everyone who's criticizing him has said some stupid things in their lives. I know you're not at the level of the Pope. Okay, I get it. Not an excuse for it. Come on. Again, it's part of the centralization thing. Even in the church, the Pope, just because you have something going wrong, you don't have to petition the Pope for everything. It's like the one lady that interviewed that something happened in, was it Indiana or Illinois a couple months ago, and people online were like, I can't believe he didn't know what was going on. You think that this guy sits around and goes, he knows everything that goes on across the globe? No, should he? Because they said something about, his response wasn't that good. I thought it was a good response. He pretty much said, I have no idea what's going on. Why would he know what's going on? It shouldn't be up in his alley to know what's going on at every step, in every place, in the entire globe. Cut the man some slack. But that goes in our centralization mindset. A president should be able to know everything that goes on. No, the president's only supposed to have a couple little powers. Not supposed to be like the monarch, all well-being, all this. No, your locality is supposed to be it. All your news should be pretty much what's going on local. No one has to get up and go, hey, I wonder what's going on in Germany today. Where do you live? New Mexico. Why do you care about what's going on in Germany? Kind of like the German bishop story. I was telling a friend of mine about it. We brought it up, and I go, you know what? It stinks. It sucks. I don't live in Germany. I honestly do not care what's going on in Germany. Why? I don't live there. People in Germany need to fix up what Germany's doing, but it's not let me get up in the morning. I can't believe what's going on in Germany. Hey, what's going on in your house? I don't know. The kids are screaming and things like that. My neighbor's falling over dead. Why do you care about Germany? I'm supposed to care about Germany. They told me I'm supposed to care about Germany. You see what it is? Just focus on you, the man in the mirror, your family, and all that. But yes, no wars. Sounds nice. And guess what? And then people giving Chris a big time heart on this, because he's saying Trump is trying to ensure that can be a reality. Your pacifism ensures more war. Wrong. He couldn't be more wrong if he got up in out of bed and go, I'm going to be so wrong today. No, that's not pacifism. That's not going into empire building, regime change, all that stuff, making up lies on TV. How about we call that out? Nope, we don't want to call that out. We'll go after the Pope. But we ain't gonna go after Trumpy boy. No. We love that guy because we might get into Mar-a-Lago. He might retweet us. But we can go after Leo because he has to forgive us. And he's not going to do it. He's not going to kick us out or anything like that. So he's open. We can punch him, hit him a couple of times in the head. No. But Trump, no, we're not touching that. We got to make sure our boy is okay. And people were getting on about that. As I said, so are you for illegal wars of aggression? By the way, they are bombing most of the Middle East for the Greater Israel Project and Ecuador for the North American Technique. Your dislike of Leo blinds you. There's the Two Cities podcast in England. What on earth are you talking about? Trump just started an unprovoked war on behalf of his Jewish masters. You can't be an Americanist and a traditional Catholic. Here's Sal the agorist going, there's about 1,000 flock cameras tracking you throughout the country, and the pedophile class plans on installing more. Cyber news, flock cameras have been vandalized across these United States, including in California and Oregon, amid growing privacy concerns. Anybody that's out in California and Oregon that's been doing this, might tip the hat to you. I know I'm not supposed to. I can't believe you're up for destroying property. I'm up for destroying the Skynet. According to DFLOC, nearly 80,000 license plate cameras operate nationwide, though dozens of cities have rejected flock systems and some police departments have limited federal access. Do you remember Captain America not Civil War? What's the Civil War? No. The one with Bucky. The first one. Dark Winter? Was that it? Captain America Dark Winter? Was that the name of it? Anyway, you remember when he's in there with Flurry, and Flurry shows him the what was the Flurry they show him? He's looking at those gigantic ships, planes, whatever. And he's talking about how they can designate all these guys and take them out like this. And Captain goes, I hate Captain America. Steve Rogers was yeah, the character went. You saw the character arc. He went from right, USA to man, this sucks. By the end of it, he's like, I quit. Rodney Dangerfield, Iron Man went from this selfish guy to very wholesome at the end, very virtuous at the end. He was self-sacrificing afterwards. Anyways, so he points to the planes and goes, "That's not." That's not power, that's fear. That's not protection. That's not protection or free. That's not freedom. That's fear. Yeah, that's it. Flock is fear. Now there are some good there here in town. What happened is it literally happened here in Gaston County. Some kid walked away, or I don't know if they had dementia or something. I don't know what was going on, but they couldn't find the kid. And they found him or her. I think it was a her. Walking down the street, a flock camera picked up on them. Now they were being used for that, totally cool, but they're not going to be used for just that. Here's Geopolitics and Empire retweeting with this one for the EU to join Mother Russia. European Common Commission. We launched our special panel on child safety online. We are working with experts to create a strong European approach to protect young people. We will hold tech platforms responsible and explore harmonized age limits for social media in the EU. Content warning, keeping kids safe online isn't optional. And again, as everyone says, that's just the little nose under the camel's tent, or a camel's nose under the tent to get everything in. They use that, we care about our kids. Yeah, the pedophile class, the elite, yeah, they care about your kid. Meanwhile, they get you to buy into it. Now you're part of the program. Here's James Lee. Remember the smart glasses we talked about on Wednesday, Hump Day? Yeah, a strong European approach. But and again, look at that. What he says. It's kind of like a strong American approach. EU, they might as well just call that one nation too. Centralization is going to be, that's a centralized thing. They're trying to make that, it's one kind of same idea.
Is your address 4 Valley?
Mark Zuckerberg has just added facial recognition to its smart glasses and hopes the public is too distracted by political turmoil to care. With an internal memo reading, quote, "We will launch during a dynamic political environment where many civil society groups that we would expect to attack us would have their resources focused on other concerns."
To use it, you just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone.
Cambridge Community Foundation. Oh, hi, ma'am. Wait, are you Betsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation, right?
Yeah.
And not only are they identifying people through the glasses, if you're one of the people wearing the glasses, you are being watched as well. Quote, "The investigation found that much of the footage captured by Meta smart glasses, of which more than 7 million pairs have reportedly been sold, is being reviewed by contract workers at a Kenya-based company called Sama." They say that sensitive and personal footage captured by the devices, including people going to the bathroom, getting dressed, and having sex, is being reviewed by contractors who see all of it uncensored. Well, what could possibly go wrong?
Now, think about that. We again, we already talked about this Wednesday, and you've known about it. We've mentioned this quite often about these things and the Israeli tech that's coming over us. What if somebody has that at a parish? Say mass is going on, and father is getting up and giving a dynamite. Maybe he's doing a sermon and talking about, I don't know, most favored nation. We got that EO still out of the anti-Semitism thing, that EO that Trump came out. Or you're in Florida and you got the EO that Trump came out, and you got if that bill comes through in Florida with the anti-Semitism CIA bill comes through, and you're there. Does a father get arrested? Because that's transmitting, or it is recording and transmitting, and you're getting all that. There's some big time ramifications that come through all of that. I mean, does father have to, people at parish or anywhere you go, how do you get away? You can't get away from that. You don't get the sign, click here for informed consent. Remember the jab? You didn't have informed consent. They're trying to make it airborne and things like that, and drone implants, not implants, but drone injections, things like that, without informed consent. What is that? That is, like, think about that guy that's on TikTok. That's not informed consent. Someone walks up to you in a camera and starts telling like that, "Oh, are you Mrs. blah blah blah?" Yeah, and she has no clue. She's looking at him. Yeah, do I know you? And he just makes up a story after that. It could be anything, and con her into whatever. Yeah, my Doom bots. Dr. Doom is in the house. Everybody say hi to Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom says my Doom bots are more ethical than Zuckerberg's glasses. Indeed, they are. Trump comes out against transgender mutilation surgery for children, unless parents give them written approval. This came through the SAVE Act. And remember, the SAVE Act is digital ID. You're going to get digital. They used it to get we got to be able to make sure voting is okay. Yeah, voting doesn't count. Your vote does not count. If you really think your vote counts still, after everything that's gone on for the last 20 years, 30 years, especially the last 6, I don't know what to say. Either you're smoking something incredibly good, or you're very gullible. I guess one of the things, yeah, I mean, local, definitely keep doing it. Figure it out. That would be it. Federal, why would you even bother? What's going on? But they had to get it because everyone's everybody's centralist. We got to make sure that no one votes for your next president who you don't want to. Which, when the next team comes around, it's going to be horrific. But I'm just going to sit there and sip my tea like Kermit and go, "Hey, what do I know about it?" Anyway, so the SAVE Act, which is bringing in digital ID, all voters must show voter ID. Woo, yeah! I mean, All voters must prove citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots. Okay, there's a lot of common sense stuff. All right, let's see. Save America. Long night, a long day. No men and women's sports. Okay, I guess pound winning because again, that was the last thing. We have to get women out of women's sports. No, it's okay. That should be easy to do. No transgender mutilation surgery for children without the express written approval of the parents. And all of the fake right just went absolutely nuts. Obvious reasons. I mean, it's like, hey, Dad, no more trans surgery. And we got to get, unless you get mommy and daddy to sign off on it. Well, whoa, time out. And again, but wait a minute. Did Trump talked about this before? I think, just one willy tiddlywink here. Yes, this is back in 2024. Man, our memories are just not that high.
We need borders. We need fair elections. We don't want men.
It's in Chicago, by the way, the Economic Club of Chicago.
Men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent. There's so many things, but it's 99.9% is common sense. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent.
It's 2026. He said that 2 years ago, and people are just now shocked on that. It's kind of like when you tell them, Trump said that he doesn't want to get rid of all the illegals. He wants to keep some good illegals, and he doesn't want to deport everyone. No. He said this. Here's his evidence. He said that. Now you think he was because you want it this way. Yeah, he's already been talking about this before. It's kind of like the IVF thing. This is nothing new, but if you look at TV, hey. What did Marky Mark? I'll give somebody a gold star if everybody tells me what Mark just said. What did he say without saying it? Okay, it's the F word. Federalism. Child trans surgery is outlawed in Iowa. Great googly moogly. That's federalism right there. Done. Gone. No matter what he says, Trump says that, Trump says this. Guess what? I'm in Iowa. What your opinion is does not count. Oh, supremacy. Now, that's not what the Supremacy Clause says. That had nothing to do with the Supremacy Clause. That's a bastardization of the Supremacy Clause. That's somebody just that they have no idea what they're talking about, Supremacy Clause. Now, if Trump comes out and says, I want everybody to wear pink bunny loafers and a suit, guess what? Most people, I bet there's some MAGA people who would find a pink bunny outfit to wear. No, that's cute. Yeah, go knock yourself out with Mar-a-Lago in your pink bunny suit. No, Iowa wants to ban it. Iowa's ban it. Bye-bye. Case closed. Hence why I said if anybody had any stones in it when Roe came out, any state could have said, you know what? Yeah, we nullify. It's not illegal. How many babies would have been saved, but there was nobody that had the guts to stand up for it. Same thing with Obergefell. But yeah, Trump says that. Cute. Just kind of like digital ID. They want to push digital ID. Any state should be able to say, nope, no thanks. We got our own IDs, which they do. Every state has their own license. That's where we use state license. You move to another state, guess where you go? You get a state license. You don't get an American license. You don't get a United States of America driver's license. You get the state of Colorado. You get the state of Alabama. You get the state of Wisconsin. You get the state of Maine. Whatever state, country you are in, you get that driver's license. There's no United States of America driver's license. Secretary Kristi Noem got relieved of her duty the other day. Was it yesterday? Thank you, POTUS, Trump, for appointing me as special envoy for the Shield of Americas. She took a new job. Secretary Rubio and HeadSec are incredible leaders, and I look forward to working with them closely to dismantle cartels that have poured drugs into our nation and killed our children. Blah, 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 blah. The Western Hemisphere is absolutely crucial for United States security. In this new role, I'll be able to build on the partnership of national security expertise I forged over the last 13 months as Department of Homeland Security. Secretary of Homeland Security. We have made historic accomplishments at the Department of Homeland Security to make America safe again. We delivered the most secure. Blue, 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 blue. Mm-hmm. She's don't worry. She's not unemployed. She's just doing something else. And who do they get to fill into place? Trump nominates U.S. Senator Markwayne Mullin to succeed Kristi Noem as U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, who is on video, as you saw the CNN montage, of saying this is not a war. Update: Mullin would become the new U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, and with Noem moving to a new role as Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that's completely unconstitutional. But who cares about that stupid thing? Who cares about the Constitution? We just make things up and put people where we go. Yeah, she might be even worse where she's going. They was like, hey, yeah, she's got, just wait. Yeah, by the way, it's how much Markwayne Mullin gets. Almost $500,000 from IPAC. He will be the only Native American in the Senate without squash. So that will give you like a DEI hire. The madman did it. He put a Native American in charge of Homeland Security. Democrats will never recover from it. Here's one of the photos. I think that was during, was it the quote unquote insurrection? There's Trump with his post on it. Yeah, here's an idea. Why don't we just eliminate the Department of Homeland Security altogether completely? Exactly. Just a little something about who he is a little bit. Nothing's really good. Nothing's going to change. This was so bad, I think I have to play it. This is Glenn Beck doing George AI. And he asked George AI about his views on foreign entanglements. As he says, curious to know what our founders would say about terrorist immigration or other issues today, join Torch to get deeper access to George AI. That's just a bad idea right at the bat. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you did. And you posted it. And then you got obliterated.
George, we are trying to not fight foreign wars and not be involved in the world's policemen. But there are times that we have to demonstrate strength in order to prevent conflict. But I don't know where the foreign entanglement begins and where it ends.
When I was president, I did not crave power. I didn't strut in my uniform, dreaming of conquest. In fact, I begged several times to not be the general and not be the president. I didn't want it, but I understood my responsibility. And I also understood that some things that are easy to forget when you're staring down bayonets. Peace is not the default. It has to be guarded deliberately with foresight and strength. My generation lived through a fragile independence. Our new republic was surrounded, literally and figuratively, by instability. Most of the founders believed that we would not survive to 1820. We thought it was an interesting experiment. European powers were sniffing the opportunities. States were threatening to splinter. Loyalists were lurking. None of this was hypothetical. It was the daily background noise of early America.
So how did you protect that freedom?
Well, you said it, through strength. Weakness didn't just invite disagreement, it invited disunion. And I had already seen what happens to authority when it is too diluted. The Continental Congress couldn't pay the troops, they couldn't enforce unity or act decisively. That kind of vacuum doesn't stay empty. Either chaos fills it or another power does. And that's why I often emphasize the importance of demonstrating readiness. Not because I wanted conflict, but to discourage those who did. I said once, to prepare for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. That's not saber rattling. That's different. It's insurance.
Anyway, that's enough. I can't do it anymore. He got dragged over the rails for that. Anybody that knows anything about Washington was just, it was open season on Beck. He actually did a video. His camera. I defer to his farewell address. It's pretty clear. We don't need to imagine that he knew when he viewed the current war. He said it outright. Excessive partiality for one foreign nation and excessive dislike of another causes those whom they actuate to see danger only on one side and serve to veil, and even second the arts of influence on the other. Real patriots who may resist the intrigues of the favorite are liable to become suspected or odious, while its tools and dupes usurp the applause and confidence of the people to surrender their interests. It can happen here. It happened in 1917. It seems to clear. What happened in 1917? Oh, somebody being quoted on that. Yeah. When I said avoid foreign entanglements, it includes Israel. Like I said, he got destroyed. He made a video talking about the exact people getting upset at him for it. U.S. payrolls unexpectedly fell by 92,000 in February. Unemployment rates rise to 4.4%. Non-farm payrolls in February fell by 92,000, compared with the estimate of 50,000 and below the downwardly revised January total of 126,000. It was the third time in 5 months that the economy lost jobs. Healthcare, the primary growth driver in payroll, saw a loss of 28,000, due largely to a strike of Kaiser Permanente that sidelined more than 30,000 workers in Hawaii and California. Wages rose more than expected. Average hourly earnings increased 0.4% for the month and 3.8% from a year ago, both 0.1% percentage, both 0.1 percentage point above forecast. And then let's get to the war. War, baby. What is it good for? Making videos. Here's the Whitey House going to justice of the American way. We are not a serious people. They decided to put out a bunch of strength and make some meme videos out of this. I can't if I play more than 2 more seconds of that, they were playing it. Copyright of a movie, just because. Day eight. This is getting worse, not better. Now, if you listen to Fox and all those guys, we have the Levitt going and Carolyn Levitt. Oh, everything's so swimmingly. It's so great. I mean, there's like Pete Hegseth the other day. We're kicking tail. We have never kicked tail more hardcore. It's going to take 2 more months. Wait a minute. I thought you were just kicking the you-know-what out of everybody. Why is it just 2 months? Why do you say it could be 2 months? It should be like 2 hours if you're doing that good. No, it might be two more months. But believe us, we are just tearing it apart. Day 8. This is getting worse, not better. Iran's missile and drone numbers from the last 8 days. Look at the drones. Look carefully. Ballistic missiles. Day 1, 350. Day 2, 175. You see it going on. Day 8, 815. Missiles are going down. Good news, right? Wrong. Now look at the drones. Day 1, 294. Day 2, 541. Day 3, 200. Day 4 is through 7. Increasing, still coming. Here's what nobody's telling you. Iran is saving its missiles. It's switching to cheap 20,000 drones instead. Each drone costs $20,000 to make. Each interception missile costs $1 to $2 million. Do the math. Iran spends $20,000. You spend at least $2 million to stop it. They can build these forever. Your defense budget can't. Every single day, more drones lost, more defense systems drained, more interceptor missiles burned, more money gone, more cities targeted. This is not a war of firepower. This is a war of economics. Iran is bleeding the U.S. and its allies dry $2 million at a time. Day 8 and defenses are already thinning. Day 15, they could run out. Day 30, the skies go unprotected. This isn't ending. It's just getting started. And the worst day hasn't come yet. Trump meets with top defense contractors today to ramp up weapons production as Operation Epic Fury escalates and threats from Iran grow. The reason why is because all the military base contractors, they can't pump out missiles like they want or they're using. They're using more than they can pump out. So they're not going to be able to pull that out. So he's meeting with them to try to ramp up weapons productions. Good luck. Now, if they try to hurry it up, like, I don't know, we need Operation Warp Speed for missiles now. What if you mess up on something? What if the system isn't wrong? What if you go so fast just to get things that you make a missile that's not good? They're in trouble. But they're talking massive, you know what? But they're in trouble. They're not going to say it, though. U.S. tests doomsday missile off of California coast as war with Iran rages. Verify the effectiveness. U.S. tested a doomsday ballistic missile off the California coast Tuesday night as war raged in the Middle East. The Minuteman III ballistic missile, which is capable of carrying nuclear warheads 20 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. So they're going to try to turn. Are they wanting to turn the Middle East into glass? I mean, that's literally, and that's not just for, like Hiroshima. You're talking about maybe the entire country off one. Launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base near Santa Barbara at 11 p.m. The unarmed rocket known as GT-240-54 hit its intended target near the Marshall Island in the West Central Pacific Ocean. Hopefully nobody was fishing around that time, according to U.S. Space Force. The missile was fired to verify its effectiveness, readiness, and accuracy, according to the Air Force Global Strike Command. It allowed us to access the performance of individual components of the missile system. Iran threatens to nuke Israel with chilling image showing missile obliteration. No, showing a missile obliterating Tel Aviv. Sorry for my English-speaking people. I try to do it a little bit better. There's the Iran showing a chilling image video. Iran has shared a chilling image of nuclear missile striking an Israeli city, which appears to be Tel Aviv. In a post on X, the account previously belonging to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that Qamishir is ahead. Qamishir is ahead, in reference to the ballistic missile named after the Iranian city. Qatar warns that oil could double to $150 a barrel and bring down economies of the world. I got more on that towards the end. Qatar's energy minister has warned the price of a barrel of oil could surge to more than $150. Yeah, get those Trump stickers out there. I did it. Comments came as the price of crude soared around 7% to over $90 a barrel, having spent most of the year around the $60 to $70 barrel mark. A rise of $150 would see it more than double from where it's been on the attacks in Iran. If the war continues for a few weeks, GDP growth around the world will be impacted. Everybody's energy price is going to go higher. I guess I can pretty much bet you a couple of milkshakes, and it's going to last for a few weeks, maybe longer, probably longer. There will be shortages of some products, and there will be a chain reaction of factories that cannot supply. Okay, here's a good idea right now for everyone that's sitting at home. It's March. The best part about this all is it's getting warmer, meaning things are growing. Start learning how to grow things, just in case. The upfront cost a little bit. Start playing. If you have your own home, start playing in the ground. That ground out there is free. Just put it in there. Grow some sunflowers so they can take the metals out from the stuff that they're spraying in the sky. So that helps out. Make sure you get some herbs: basil, yarrow, lavender, rosemary. And just go down the list. Oregano, whatever you want to call it. Grow some peppers. Get a greenhouse. If you like to get some citrus, get some citrus. Elderberry. Elderberry tree will give you fruit for about, 50 years. Your grandkids will it'll last longer than 50 years. Your grandkids will profit off the elderberry, the mulberry, my fault, mulberry. You can grow an elderberry too. Mulberry tree will fruit for years. Put it in the ground. Yeah, just apple. Get an apple tree from Kazakhstan. I got seeds here. I've grown. I got one right there. It's now yay big. Tobacco. Grow some tobacco. Grow so you can barter. Get coffee plant or Yupon holly. Yupon holly. You can grow the leaves. It still has the caffeine of a coffee plant, but you can grow some coffee and you can barter that. Figure out what you eat and grow. Potatoes, air potatoes, even better. They grow in a vine above. Passion fruit. You can eat the fruit and you can eat the leaves. Elderberry, mulberry, you can eat the leaves too. Strawberries, you can eat the leaves and the berries. Blackberries, you can eat the leaves and the berries. Blueberries, raspberries, you can eat the leaves and the berries. All that. Just figure out what you like. Start growing it. Go ahead and start ordering your stuff now, in case you can't get stuff shipped. In case food doesn't get to you or food goes up big time, might as well have some food. At least the berries part. Maybe go a little bit higher and get the tree that's going to grow some fruit right now. You might not have years to do it, but you can get the herbs and stuff like that to grow right now. Micro sprouts are great, growing 5 to 7 days on a countertop, full of protein and nutrients. Yes. Duckweed, incredibly good for you. And NASA's using it for food in space. You can grow some duckweed. If you have a pond, perfect. Get some duckweed, put it in a pond. It'll multiply like gremlins. You can also put it in a pot or something like that outside, and something. You get a Walmart pool, fill it up, make the water a little crappy looking. It loves bad water, as in stuff in it. Fine, it'll grow. That's a good stuff to use. There's millions of things. Watercress, dandelion. Grow some dandelion. Make some dandelion salads. I mean, the list is literally endless. If you're a kale and potatoes kind of guy, throw some potatoes in, whatever, just in case. It'd be a good idea to have some food product on the side. Like, yes, the trees are going to be down the road years. You might not get it like even a pawpaw tree. It's going to take you a couple years to get a fruit. Mulberry is going to get a couple years to get a fruit. Get some stuff going now. You can, especially like potatoes, you can grow the potatoes right now. Get them in the ground and have a bunch of them. And then you can put it. Make sure if you live in a house, have something that you can store it in so you can have it throughout. You treat it like it did COVID in a sense, if things like that. You can. Was it? Who was it? Many people did like survival gardening, where they ended up growing stuff just to see if they can make it off with it. Learn how to do it. Look at about the forage around your area. Yes, she says a great point. Learn how to make your own bread. Sourdough bread is great for the body and good for poverty. Flour and water go a very long way. And if you don't have any of that, grow some amaranth. Amaranth will grow stuff that you can grind into flour in a sense. There's so many things out there you can do with walnut bread, things of that nature. God has given everything to us. It's tons of way. Yeah, soluble water filler literally clears anything and everything, including microplastic. Can take lake water and will clean it. Yeah, there's a lot of companies, because Berkeley was doing it. Berkeley's still getting sued by the government about that. But yes, there's tons of things, and there's almost no excuse. You got to have something. I got seeds in the fridge. I got seeds around me right here. I got wild hawthorn right here. What is it? What do I got right here? I have to go through some of these things of what I have. Coneflower. Obviously for medicinal work, make sure you have some medicine here. Is mustard greens right here, ruby streaks. What do I have? Lamb's quarter, watercress. I just plant gojo berry, gooseberries. Gooseberries will go good. Melons, beans. There's pinto beans, red beans, black turtle soup bean, green bean. There's a ton of beans. Get some, and again, put it in the ground, start growing it, just in case. And maybe you help out your neighbor if you need. Anyway, back to the program. TPUSA got community noted for deliberately misrepresenting Charlie Kirk's vehemently opposition to a U.S. war in Iran. Imagine being assassinated in front of your wife, then having her willfully sell out your convictions and taint your legacy in front of the entire world. Here's Kirk. If you are serious about actually protecting human rights, you should want to make Iran Western again. And they're always going to put the look at the Iranian lady in a bikini or pants or whatever like this. Anyway, the clip predates Charlie Kirk's June 2025 statement calling regime change in Iran pathologically insane. But TPUSA decided to do it anyways. I'm still thinking of we need to give Steve a farm. I will, with arms wide open, play some Creed. I will do that. Yes, I would love. I don't need a big farm. I could just give me an acre. That's fine. Somebody else can have a cow. Someone else can do chickens. I'm a team player type of deal. Somebody next to me have a cow. Great. We'll trade. I'll get the berries and fruit and veggies, and we'll do. You can do the cow. Get some raw. You get some raw. You doing milk. Someone else doing bread. Someone else doing this. Everyone team effort. Bada bing, baby. You don't have to do it all because when you think about doing it all, you'll get overwhelmed and you'll just crash. You won't be able to pull it off. Can't survive. You can do it on your own, but you can't. It's a lot easier when it's a team effort. Well, an empty shipping container for hydroponics work. Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert on hydroponics. I've tried it once, and I wasn't very diligent on it. I'm just used to doing soil, dirt, all that. I know people that do it well. But yeah, as long as you get a green, as long as you have a grow light and the heat to be able to pull that off and the right vitamins, minerals to put in the water, it should be okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but yes, I mean, yeah, just like they did in the Depression. You know who didn't know there was a depression? People out in wet, people that were away from big cities actually growing their own food and all. They had no clue. But yeah, the summer it's starting to get moringa. I got a couple of moringa trees growing out of that from seed. Incredibly good for you. Amaranth, you can eat this. The leaves have protein or protein packed leaves, all kinds of vitamin minerals in it. And then when it seeds out, you can make that into different yeast and all that. And it loves heat. I just planted today some not plantain. I need to plant some plantain. Oh, purslane. Incredible herb. Loves the heat. Loaded with vitamin minerals in it. I got some stuff getting put out there that I'm gonna just it's gonna be great. I put some low veg out today, so it's like the good stuff, good celery, good version of lettuce. So yeah, get some stuff out there like that. If you live in a rental, you can, or live in an apartment, you can still do it. Pot it. Here's break-in. Donald Trump has done the impossible. He has boots on the ground in Iran, and they are non-Western. Iraqi Kurds have stepped up and pledged allegiance to the United States. As this guy 50317 says, the impossible, unquote. The Western Predator cast has been hiring mercenaries to invade Iran since at least Alexander the Great in 330 BC. How absurd the Hasbara correlates precisely on how indefensible this policy is. Live updates. Russia provided Iran with information that can help Tehran strike U.S. military, AP sources say. One reason is because they were, it gets into all that. They're taking out the thing, taking out the radars and all this. But yes, Russia is giving them help. They're giving them help on targets. You're not hearing a lot of stuff that's coming out of the media. You're not seeing it. Israel is getting bombarded. What was it? A general said, I can't remember which general said, they're getting the Gaza treatment. I did see they got some new American equipment. And they're not going to let you show that because it's propaganda. As Health Ranger, you are not being shown videos that have captured the damage being inflicted on Tel Aviv. That's what I just thought of. Just like X also blocked most videos showing the IDF bombing Gaza and harming children or civilians. This is all by design, of course. Selective censorship equals psyops. And just like during the lockdown. There's neither Israel nor Iran have actually signed up to that cluster munition convention. Iranian IRGC fires the Kiber Shakan missile at Tel Aviv and central Israel. Al Jazeera's Rory Chalens breaks down how this weapon works. Let's hear about how this weapon works, because it's pretty much indefensible in a sense. I'll show you why.
Short while ago, the Iranian IRGC,
so
the Islamic Revolutionary
Need
Guard
that guy
Corps,
Shrek on.
announced what it said was the 21st wave of Operation True Promise. It said this was a combined drone and missile attack at Tel Aviv and areas of central Israel. And what they said was they had included in this attack package the Kebar Shakan missile. That is a missile with a cluster munition warhead. And we have seen videos of what looks very much like a cluster munition detonating over central Israel and raining down sub-munitions across a pretty wide area. Now, sirens have been sounding across Tel Aviv and central Israeli regions. This is the 7th or 8th, I think, attack on Israel since midnight local time. There are no casualties that are being reported at the moment by the Israeli ambulance service, but I can explain a bit more about what this weapon is. The Kebar Shakan, its name means the fortress buster. It's a pretty new weapon in Iran's arsenal. It's only been operational since 2022. It's quite sophisticated. It has a maneuverable warhead that when it's in its descent phase, it opens up and about 20 sub-munitions come out of it, each with about 2.5 kilos of explosives. So you can see that when it's spread over a big area, some 8 kilometers squared, it can cause a significant amount of destruction. Now, it's not the first time that Iran has used this weapon in this conflict. The Israelis have said that they've been on the receiving end of this several times so far since the war started last weekend. It is a cluster munition. Of course, cluster munitions are banned under an international treaty, but only if the countries themselves are signed up to that convention, and neither Israel nor Iran have actually signed up to that cluster munition convention.
Share screen. Yeah, Safra, yeah, that's a good point right there. You can make anything work you put your mind to get on it. It's a Volt energy drink. Get to it. Yeah, no excuses. Get it done. Give it a shot. Just experiment is the main thing. See what works, see what doesn't work, and figure out what you did wrong and do better. That's what I'm doing. I tell my wife that's why I'm experimenting. If nothing fails, I try to figure out what I did wrong and try to make better. By the way, yeah, and we brought out the white strawberries. Put some white strawberries out there. They taste like pineapples. And the birds don't know they're strawberries, so they won't get them. Iran just developed deployed cluster munitions over Tel Aviv. One missile, 80 sub-munitions scattered across the city. This cannot be intercepted. No air defense system on Earth was built for this. Netanyahu, who's probably in Miami right now, no way he's in Israel, spent 30 years engineering this moment. 3 decades of lobbying, pressuring, and manipulating every U.S. administration he could reach, waiting for one who would finally pull the trigger. Trump pulled it. And now the civilians Netanyahu claim to be protected are underneath 80 simultaneous warheads from a single launch. Trump said Iran's missiles are gone this morning. Iran just proved otherwise tonight. 6 Americans dead, no aftermath plan, a regime still standing, cluster munitions over Tel Aviv. Netanyahu got his war. This is what 30 years of wanting it looks like. All gas, no brakes. Trump's escalating war with Iran. NATO on edge. Who's in charge? Uranium and Congress paralyzed. MSN now with the 11th hour. Paul Radcliffe with who? Stephanie Rule. Okay. From last night, including when the show strangely went down the middle of my criticism of Trump and the Democrats. Yeah, these are weird. I'll just go ahead and play it. Let's play the dude. Yeah, they're little bombs, but they're still bombs. And they do blow up.
But the reality
like that. They predicted it would be over this Friday, 2 days from now. And now we've got the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth, saying this is just the beginning as they move deeper into Iran. What is your current evaluation of the situation we're in?
those guys you talked to probably didn't serve in combat.
Correct.
The reality is that the lid is off now. I mean,
what does that mean?
They've talked about striking Iran for a long time, and there's this idea that it can be contained. It's not contained. It's a regional war now. Our allies are being hit. Multiple NATO allies are being threatened. Turkey could get involved. And I think there's a chicken hawk perspective that war is going to be easy. War is going to be quick. They came out of Venezuela.
The allies aren't
thinking that they could do this without
U.S.
American
bases
casualties.
in
But the
those
reality
allied
is
countries.
Things
are
go
gonna get
sideways.
different.
And this is the beginning of what could be a very long and protracted war, but it's also the beginning of the next phase, potentially beyond Iran, because he's hit 8 other countries in the last year. And he continues to be all gas, no brakes, nothing slowing him down. They're doing a War Powers Act vote 4 or 5 days after he goes to war. And last night he hit Ecuador. He's striking Ecuador. He's talking about
The North
striking
American
Cuba
technique.
and other places.
Ecuador.
So this is a new normal where Trump is doing whatever he wants and throwing the middle finger up to Congress and everyone else. And the real question, I think, especially for the Senate and for Congress, is what are you going to do to stop him or slow him down if he wants to go further, like put boots on the ground? Because it looks like he will put boots on the ground and they'll tweet about it and they'll do press conferences and he'll just keep going.
Paul, the New York Times is reporting that the Ayatollah's son has emerged as the frontrunner to become the new supreme leader. If that's the case, how is that not a win for the hardest of hardliners in Iran? You now have a younger version of the Ayatollah who may be even more hardline than his father was.
It would be a win. I mean, and it underscores that they're not communicating what happens next. They say they keep killing deeper levels of bad guys, and there are more bad guys behind them, but it doesn't address the central question. Is anybody in charge over there? No matter how many people we kill, there's going to be a power vacuum here. And when power vacuums erupt, the people with the guns are the ones in charge. So the question remains, who is going to handle security? That is the number one question, I think, for the president and for everyone involved. Is it going to be American troops? Is it going to be Israeli troops? Is it going to be the Kurds? Is it going to be something else? That's a question they have to continue to focus on, because when the bombs stop dropping and the rockets stop dropping, which they won't stop from coming out of Iran probably anytime soon, who is going to handle security for the Iranian people? That is a central question. There's also other questions like, where's the uranium? Does anybody have any idea if that's been secured and what happens next? But I think the central question has to be, who will handle security? Because we saw what happens in Iraq when there's no plan for that.
Let's talk about the bombs keep dropping. As you were saying, they're not going to stop from their side. What do you make of the concern around munitions?
Oh, I think it's just another example of how they haven't planned fully for what comes next. I mean, this conversation that they're having with defense contractors, that should have happened a month ago. The whole world knew we were going to hit Iran. I mean, it's similarly getting Americans out of the region. They should have done that months ago. I mean, they are going so fast, and they don't actually want to land on a rationale, in my view. That's part of their strategy.
What do you mean?
They don't want a rationale that they can be held to. It gives them a moving target. If they can keep moving the target, they're never truly held accountable. And that is the bigger question for our country right now. Are we going to hold him accountable on any level if he continues to go further and throw his middle finger up to the American people who overwhelmingly don't support it? Congress, which halfway today it looks like don't support it. And most folks don't want more war. He wants more regime change war, and the country doesn't want it. The question
But
is,
held accountable by whom? The midterms are months away.
that is the problem, right? Democrats keep saying, well, we'll hold him accountable in November. How many more countries could he hit between now and November?
But they don't have any other levers to pull.
They have to find them, right? I mean, if it's, no, this is, you can't just dismiss it and say they're not in charge. They have to come up with a strategy, even if it's impeachment. I keep saying that. They have to do something to hold them accountable for invading multiple countries against the will of the American people, and at least.
Yeah, they should impeach him yesterday. By the way, Catholic on Instagram, Catholic Journey, Becoming Catholic Journey said that let's not forget garlic. Good point. Sorry that your guys' comments for some reason does not appear on StreamYard. I see it. I have to click on the Instagram live feature to see it. But yes, garlic, 100%. Again, a lot of easy stuff just to put in the ground. Right now my chives came back to life. I got some Tokyo bunch onions, walking onions, the avocado and the lime. I got a hearty avocado back there. The lime is okay. The pineapple's coming back in. See, my bananas are still alive. And let's see, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. Okay, dude. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. MAGA. So MAGA is gone. Bye-bye. We're in the MAGA, which can do for make Israel great again or make Iran great again or whatever. What is, are we going after Japan now? Is that what it is? I mean, or is that just foreshadow, or we're going to nuke these bad boys? Is that unconditional surrender? I also got more because Iran's pretty much telling Trump, come get some. Trump says no deal with Iran to end war without unconditional surrender. What does that mean? Once a future king, President DJT said that there would be no deal. We already said that. Trump said that after a surrender, the United States and allies would work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Reconstruction meets the 15-minute city. The demand came as Iran has yet to pick a leader to replace Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in an airstrike at the beginning of the war, blah, blah, blah. Qatar's energy minister, Saeed Al-Kaabi, warned that rising oil prices due to the war could bring down the economy. We already talked about that. Here's the girls' school that was hit by the U.S., killing 165 schoolgirls, was on the pentagram strike zone showed by headset. It's the green part right there. He's in this thing. He goes, of course, we'd never target anything like that. That's the green spot right there. Breaking. Iran responds to Trump's unconditional surrender demand. Quote, Iran will not be controlled by the Epstein gang. Great. You talking? They have zingers too. Israel's already making deals with India. It just freezes off. Sorry, I was reading some of the comments. Geopolitics and empire. What? Wow. So the U.S. shot Iran in the back. How cowardly. The torpedoed Iranian ship was returning home from a multinational Navy exercise, 74 countries. This Iranian ship was leaving Indian naval exercise when sunk, raising concerns in New Delhi. The Iranian warship torpedoed by U.S. submarine in the Indian Ocean this week. That must be what everyone saw that was jumping up and down about. Departed Indian waters just days earlier, completing a port visit and multinational Navy exercise hosted by New Delhi. The incident has ignited political controversy in India and left the government of Prime Minister Modi without a public response. Sri Lanka's Navy recovered 87 bodies and rescued 32 survivors from the Iris Dana as of Thursday, with around 10 sailors unaccounted for. A second Iranian vessel entered Sri Lanka's exclusive economic zone in the aftermath of the sinking, though officials have not identified the ship or explained its presence. India's exercise Iran ship. Exercise Milan as India's flagship biennial multilateral Navy drill designed to foster maritime cooperation among participating nations. The 13th edition ran concurrently with the International Fleet Review 2026, February 15th to 25th, which represents from 74 countries and 18 foreign warships. Iranian Navy Rear Admiral Shahram Irani attended and held talks with India's Chief of Naval Staff. The event's theme, United Through Oceans. The Iris Dana represented Iran on both events. She sailed out of Visa Capanan when Milan concluded February 25th and was heading home to Iran when a U.S. fast attack submarine fired a single Mark 48 torpedo into her hull March 4th in international waters, roughly 25 miles south of Sri Lanka. U.S. Navy sent no surface warship to Milan. Its only official presence was a P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft from Patrol Squadron 4. The guided missile destroyer USS Pinckney had been slated to attend but was diverted to Singapore on February 15th before the exercise began, for reasons the Navy has not publicly disclosed. Response from Tehran and Washington. Iran Foreign Minister Shahid Abbas framed the sinking as an attack on a vessel that had been under Indian diplomatic protection. The U.S. has perpetrated an atrocity at sea, 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores, he wrote on social media. Frigate Dena, the guest of India's Navy, carrying almost 130 sailors, was struck in international waters without warning. Mark my words, the U.S. will come to bitterly regret the precedent it has set. The Pentagram offered a different view. General Dane Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, described the strike on a Wednesday briefing as a demonstration of unmatched American military capability. To hunt, find, and kill an out-of-player deployer is something that only the United States can do at this type of scale. Man, we are full of ourselves. Iran just destroyed an ANFPS-132 radar at al-Udeid with a single missile, one missile. The radar was not just a target. It was the nervous system of every Patriot battery, every THAAD launcher, every layered air defense architecture in the United States. The United States has spent 4 decades and several $1 trillion constructing across the Gulf. Every interceptor and theater just went partially blind. The backbone of American missile defense in the most fortified U.S. base in the Middle East, taken out by a single Iranian strike, while they were busy stripping South Korea's defenses, summoning Raytheon to the White House and requesting $50 billion in emergency funds to restock magazines that were already hollow before this war began. The air defense shortage is worse than most imagined. Qatar claims to have intercepted 101 missiles during this conflict, likely inflated. Qatar claims 2 got through. 1 hit the only target that mattered. That is asystematic warfare distilled to its purest form. Iran has to succeed once. The U.S. has to be perfect every time. And, of course, they won't. They weren't. And now the U.S. Navy, the force Trump promised would escort Gulf ships through the Strait, has announced it cannot provide escorts in the Strait of Hormuz. No escorts, no timeline, but even if they do, they're sitting ducks for Iran's coastal defense forces. No Iranian Navy presence required. The petrodollar runs through a choke point the United States can no longer credibly protect. Defended by interceptor systems now operating without their primary radar, restocked by a Raytheon production line that makes 37 THAAD interceptors a year. 3,200 ships are sitting idle. European gas is up 50% and climbing fast. A global recession is no longer a forecast. It's a Wednesday. The Gulf monarchs who rented their soil to Washington are watching their ports burn and their pipelines get threatened while the Navy says it needs more time. One missile changed everything. This timeline is insane and cannot be distilled in a single post. History will need multiple volumes.
Has struck Al-Udeid Air Base, as I said, the biggest American base in the region. We don't know much more. No casualties reported as of yet. Again, we don't know what we don't know, but we do know they are saying it was a ballistic missile. It's obviously a significant development. And as that is coming in, we are learning that the CIA is also working to trigger some sort of an uprising inside of Iran. Now, this is a major and potentially explosive development in the war. So let me tell you what we know here with these breaking details. Multiple people familiar with the plan are telling CNN that the Trump administration is working to arm Kurdish forces.
We know what we don't know. To the crazy town part of the program here.
If we bless And so I commend Donald Trump. I commend Benjamin Netanyahu. I truly believe, Greg, maybe we can talk about that a little later, but I truly believe that God ordained these two men to be the leaders of those nations at this exact time for this exact purpose. We've all been given an opportunity to bless Israel. If we bless Israel, like I believe President Trump is doing now, then we will be blessed. I truly believe America is going to be blessed from this effort. And likewise, if we turn our back on Israel and curse them, then we're cursed as a nation. And the Bible bears that out. Again, there's only one criterion upon which nations are judged. That's how nations treat Zion. So at this moment, we have to do everything we can to ensure that President Trump has a House and a Senate that will work with him to advance peace and prosperity in America by being pro-Israel. So that's why the primary is extremely important.
Right. It's the golden age, but it's not just America's.
We'll get more. Anyway, this is a great video. This is an Eastern Orthodox priest that made this.
It's being disseminated through official combat readiness briefings across 40 different military units. We just struck Iran, and while the smoke is still rising, you have combat commanders telling their troops that this war is, quote, all part of God's divine plan. They're telling our young men, our sons, that a sitting president was, quote, anointed by Jesus to light a signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. Do you hear that? They aren't just briefing soldiers, they're catechizing them for a suicide pact. It is apostasy and patriotic drag. These commanders are, quote, euphoric. They're zeroing in on how bloody this battle must become to satisfy a 19th century heresy. This isn't national defense. It's a blood-soaked delusion. It is the bitter fruit of an eschatology that hungers for war because they believe it will speed the rapture. Do you not see the inversion?
There's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Somewhere in the archives of a small town in New Hampshire, there's a ghost of a different man. I remember him standing in an auditorium, head bowed low, asking for a blessing as a beggar, before he was convinced he could command the fire. But here's the twist. They think that this fire in the desert is the start of a kingdom. They believe they can force the second coming through military might. But the heart that seeks God in a bomb is already lost to the enemy. This isn't the light of Christ. It is a false light, a great deception designed to splinter the human psyche. They have traded the cross for the missile. They have replaced the Prince of Peace with a contract for conquest. This is the Greater Israel Project masked as piety. They have taken a 19th century heresy, dispensationalism, and turned it into a political weapon. It is a theology that exalts the shadow of a flag over the substance of the cornerstone. They forgot that Christ's kingdom is not of this world. They tell you that to support the sword is to bless the king. But the true Israel is not a flag. It is the body of Christ. We are being led into a global catastrophe, not by necessity, but by a malformed teaching that turns the gospel into an instrument of destruction. The evolution of man is not found in a desert fire. It is found in the surrendering of your own will so that God's love may dwell within the heart. Do not be deceived by those who promise an earthly kingdom built on blood. God is not mocked. If we will not carry the cross, we will be crushed by it. The false light is already burning.
You know, he has some great lines in that. Yeah, here. Okay. Marco Rubio, let me explain to you guys in this in simple English. Okay, this is from the other day. Iran is run by lunatics, religious fanatic lunatics. As anarcho-Christian points out, this is what happened. That's his spiritual advisor at the bottom. Complete nut job. And that's what happened yesterday. All these guys praying over him. Let's see, here's the Chinese guy. This guy is getting more views than anybody on the planet. He puts out a video against about 4 million people.
Create the second coming of Jesus, okay? the soldiers are being asked, the American soldiers are being asked to fight this war. And again, no one knows why this war is happening. But there's reporting that the generals are telling the soldiers, this is a war for Jesus. This is a war to create the second coming of Jesus, okay? This is Jonathan Larson, and he's writing this on Substack, okay? U.S. troops were told Iran war is for Armageddon, the return of Jesus. Well, what is this? Okay, so some soldiers who are not Christians were told that this is a war for Jesus, and like, wait a minute, we're not Christians, we're Muslims or we're atheists. Why are we fighting this war? And so they filed a complaint about this speech, okay? And we're going to read a part of this email that the soldiers who are dissenting sent to some other people to complain about this, okay? So could you read, please?
I am a NCO rank withheld in our unit, him as a Christian. But what he did this morning was so toxic and over the line that it shocked many of us in attendance at the ops readiness briefing. Besides myself, I am reaching out to MRFF on behalf of 15 fellow troops. I know you asked me about the religious views of our group who has requested help from the MRFF. I can only tell you that I am Christian, and at least 10 of the others are also Christians. One of the others is Jewish, and one is Muslim. I don't know the religious or non-religious status for the other 3 at this time.
Okay, so what is happening is that there's some crazy Christians in the American military, in the American government.
Yes, the Christian nationalism. The Zionists and the Christian nationalists, which the Christian nationalists in a nutshell, one, believe the false idea of one nation, and to get them to become Christian by force. As is the one priest, the Orthodox priest, that said, take the cross, instead of the cross, you have the missile. So this is trying to make it a Christian by force, not by conversion, not by converting a heart, by law and force. It's not how you get it in. We got some wackadoos up there. That Hagee guy, he's a wackadoo. He's the one dude that's up in D.C. is Hitzek's right-hand man. He's the spiritual advisor. He's the Christian nationalist par excellence, if there can be one. He moved to D.C. because Hitzek is there because he's in the position he is. These guys are all in on this. It's forced Christian nationalism. And you're in our version of Christianity. There's Iran war, Hitzek agenda, test religious freedom in ranks. Experts and former military chaplains said there have been long religious freedom debates in the military, but the tensions over such issues have risen amid Hitzek's efforts to promote Christianity, especially his form. Remember, during the Rona, it was the Mass, the Catholics got pushed out. It wasn't Protestants. The Military Religious Freedom Foundation said it received more than 200 complaints from service members, blah, blah, blah. Hitzek, more narrowly vision of religion in the military, echoes the Trump administration's widespread efforts to boost religion's presence in the public square. It's fine, but again, which one? The false religion? And then you're preaching air and making this all kinds of nutty stuff. Russia's providing Iran intelligence to target U.S. officials. U.S. forces officials said we already had this. Sorry for the double. Oh, here it is. These ones are pretty good. Yeah, the game theory stuff, Brick. Yeah, he's a and wow, the dude is all over the place. I mean, I saw one. He came up with a new video. He's 2.3 million views already. Like, man, this guy's just.
For them. President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
We are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
I'm just shocked.
Saying Iran does not want a ceasefire.
We are not asking for a ceasefire. And we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the US when we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us, and there is no request for the negotiation with the US from us. We have never sent any messages to them.
Minister, you said that Iran cannot reach U.S. soil, right? The American homeland with the weapons that you have right now. Is there any other way that Americans should be concerned that Iran could attack the American homeland?
No, they have enough bases around us. Why we should go further than that? They have enough soldiers. They have enough, military assets, and they have enough military bases and military installations. So we don't need to go beyond that.
The Strait of Hormuz hasn't been closed, but the threat of its closure has disrupted the international economy. If this war continues, will Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But they have not closed it. It is the ships and tankers who don't try to pass through to cross the strait because they are, concerned about being hit by either side. So we have no intention to close it right now. But as the war continues, we will consider every scenario. For the time being, we have not done yet, and but the strait is, almost empty of ships and tankers because of their concern.
In this war, are international oil tankers potential targets for Iran?
No. Why they should be a goal for us?
Iran threatened tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has already threatened them to set them afire.
No, we have not threatened them. They are concerned themselves, and they don't use the Strait of Hormuz because of the concerns they have to be hit by either side.
I mean, confidence he had. No, we're waiting for him. That should make Trump and them pause, but it's not. Here's on the negotiations, which again, I'm right there with them. There's been many times, if you've been paying attention, especially all media, where they've been negotiating and they've been blown out, bombs dropped on them.
Is a negotiated settlement with the United States still possible?
Well, you answered this question. We negotiated with the United States twice in the past 12 months, and in both cases, they attacked us in the middle of negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And that has become a very bitter experience for us. In last June, we were negotiating. We had 5 rounds of negotiations, and we had already fixed the 6th round for 15 June when the Israeli attacked us, and then the US joined the attack. And this time, we had 3 rounds. Last Thursday, we had a very good discussion, very good talks in Geneva. Both Iranian and the US delegation were happy at the end of 7 hours of negotiations. And I can go into the details of what we agreed and how a deal was at our reach. And when we concluded, the Omani foreign minister, who was the impartial intermediator between us, he concluded by saying in his post that we made significant progress this time. We were able to come to a good understanding on some of our differences. Some other differences were left for the next meeting, and we decided to go for Vienna, to send our technical teams to Vienna on Monday, which means tomorrow, to go to the IAEA, and with the help of the International Atomic Energy Organization, try to find technical solutions for the political problems. And we both believed, the both delegations believed that this is possible. So a deal was at our reach, and we left Geneva happily with the understanding that we can reach a deal next time we meet. And it was very unfortunate that those who are against peace, against diplomacy, against negotiation, when they understood that diplomacy is going on well, they decided to spoil it, and they created a build-up in the media, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against, the desires of us, against, and they made lots of accusations against us. They created false information and disinformation, and they finally get to their, to what they wanted. They dragged President Trump, they convinced President Trump to attack us unprovoked and unwarranted.
Mr. Minister, thank you for your time this morning.
Because I remember when all that happened and people were going, why would Iran ever or anybody ever trust them again for doing what they did? Because every time they had a meeting, they were attacked. Sapphire asked, she's curious about China. I brought this up hump day on Wednesday. China said they're not doing anything. They have a deal with Iran. They can the Chinese ships can come in and grab some oil out of Iran, or go through the strait. I mean, so they're going to try to go after Taiwan. And if the U.S. says anything, they're just going to say, wait a minute, you're doing that with Ecuador and Venezuela. Kiss our grits. We're doing whatever we want. China, it's not Russia and China is not going to get involved in any of this. But yeah, are you scared of a U.S. invasion? No, we are waiting on them. Iran destroyed a $1.1 billion radar in Qatar. Say the Iranian struck military facilities, hit a U.S. early warning radar in Qatar. Estimated cost around $1.1 billion. So in one thing that it said the radar would do, it gave them a 15-minute warning, 15 or 20-minute warning. Now the warning's down to, from what I understand from hearing what other guys from the defense say, a minute. Oil surges 35% this week for biggest gain in futures trading history dating back to 1983. To obliterate the Iranian regime will be a very good thing for the energy and oil markets, says Levitt, and for oil prices across the globe. Oh, okay. Here's a video that shows the ship traffic moving through the strait. I'll play him and start reading it for you. I'm probably tired of hearing me talk, blah, blah, blah.
Workarounds that they have. We mentioned that pipeline in Saudi Arabia. Do others have a similar release valve?
So the two significant pipelines are the East-West pipeline from Saudi Arabia, and then you also have the Fujairah pipeline from the UAE. We estimate that if both pipelines operate at full capacity, and if the ports supporting the transportation of the barrels once they're out of the pipeline to the rest of the world, if all that infrastructure is intact, we estimate around 3.6 million barrels per day of extra pipeline spare capacity beyond what you usually do. That's helpful, but that still leaves roughly 16, 17 million barrels per day of supply at risk. And at the moment, the data we're tracking suggests that the Fujairah pipeline is still not running at full capacity. And you're seeing the spillovers to supply chains. In fact, the ships that need to pick up the barrels in the Fujairah port are reportedly running out of marine fuel because the marine fuel typically comes via the strait. Other vulnerabilities are attacks on pipelines, attacks on ports. So this could be a partial offset, but it is vulnerable and fragile on its own in an environment with elements.
Man, it is just going to be a hot mess. Why would we not trust them? Why would we ever trust them again? I don't know what did they lie about. I don't know what they've lied about. There's nothing on their trust wise. They're not doing anything untrustworthy. And that's not saying, hey, I'm pro Iran. But it's just, oh yeah, here's Rumsfeld. In case history doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
It is not knowable if force will be used, but if it is to be used, it is not knowable how long that conflict would last. It could last, 6 days, 6 weeks. I doubt 6 months.
It ended up being many years. So This thing could go on for quite some time. Greed and bigotry. Barack Hussein Obama goes off on Trump at Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral. Apparently, he was in the state in South Carolina and Columbia. I'm going, why was he in Columbia? In a 25-country survey, Americans especially likely to view fellow citizens as morally bad. 53% of U.S. adults say Americans have bad morals and ethics. Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a lot. You can just look around and see that. But again, this is to try to get you to hate your neighbor too. Cuba will fall. We'll put Rubio over there. See how it works. Trump tells CNN. But we're focusing on this one, Iran right now. Trump tells political people are loving what is happening in Iran and says Cuba is next. Cuba will fall too. Wait a minute. I haven't gone to antiwar.com yet. Generals singing in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. He says Trump says he must pick Iran's new leader. The Pentagon prepares for Iran war to last through September. Wait a minute. They said for 2 weeks or a weekend, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks maybe. That was headset the other day. Now it's September. Again, we're 2 weeks to flatten the curve, baby. The Pentagon eyes Ukrainian interceptors to counter Iran's drones. The Iran war cost tracker. Oh, we got a tracker. Let's see what the tracker is. We'll see. Let's see. Hopefully, it won't shut the computer down. Won't pull up. Death in U.S.-Israel attacks on Iran over 1,200. House bill kills to halt Trump's war in Iran. Pope Leo prays for leaders to abandon projects of death. You can get on him. UK drone attack on Cyprus base not launched from Iran. 8 Israeli troops wounded by Hezbollah rockets. Finland to lift a full ban on hosting nukes. And Trump says regime change in Cuba is next after this message in sports. Yes, geoethics and empire. HeadSec just announced the American Technate, the North American Technate. And I have a bigger video of him right here, I think, yes. As Secretary HeadSec of War says, Donald Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America, or the Gulf of, we're not going to war with that, not dying for Israel, whichever way you want to call the new Gulf. Yeah, pick a name. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw your thing. Okay, I should have been more clear. Sorry, no problem. No apologies necessary. I mean, why would we trust our government any more than Iran? Oh yeah, okay, again, yeah. Yeah, that should be the rule. First thing a little baby's voice should say is, I don't trust DC. Y'all need to quit it. Damn, can this place be any more miserable for at least a whole month? No, hold my beer.
That is why President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America. Why? Because every sovereign nation and territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global South. It is a security perimeter in this great neighborhood that we all live in. Each one of these countries border either the North Atlantic or the North Pacific. Each one of these countries sits north of the 2 basic geographic barriers that exist in this region, the Amazon and the Andes Mountains.
Anyway, the video for them is pretty bad because it's cutting in and off. But again, he's literally just, great googly moogly. He's talking about the North American Technate. That's the Technate North America. Look it up, see what it is. If you don't know what it is, great Scott. He's literally talking about the Technate. Go to Last American Vagabond and type in the North American Technate. James Corbett has stuff on it. Amazing. I feel worse when I don't pay attention. I get it. Trust me. There's days I go by going, maybe I'm not going to do this anymore. I know what's going on. I'm not going to. But again, no one else is bringing this stuff up. So I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it. It's getting worse and worse. Let's see. And then you got the Greater Israel Project. Because that's what's going on right now. You got the North American Technate, as he says, the Greater American Party.
Iraq, okay? It's a huge area.
Greater Israel Project.
And if you say the Israelis want to achieve the Greater Israel Project, they call you a conspiracy theorist. Like, we don't want that, okay? But explain two things to me. First of all, why is the Greater Israel map on a Sharon of an IDF soldier, okay? These are soldiers, Israeli soldiers, and they wear the insignia of the Greater Israel Project, okay? This is the map. Also, if you look at the flag of Israel, there are two blue lines, right? These represent rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates, all right? So if it's a conspiracy theory, then how do you explain these two things? All right, but I want to argue you know what? Pax Judaica, it's not about Israel or the Greater Israel Project. What it is ultimately is an alliance of transnational capital, multinationals like Google and Meta, and intelligence agencies that will be based in Jerusalem, okay? So secret societies will be based in Jerusalem, and they will use it as a headquarters for their global conspiracy.
Remember, Israel was the ground zero for the jab. It was the experimentation area.
But, and they will profit from chaos and conflict around the world because they think that this is the culmination of the prophecy. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Jews will be in charge. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay, so it's a much more complicated idea than people think it is. All right, so where do we get this stupid idea from? Okay, it actually starts with Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton.
You know, you want to watch the rest of them, just check it out. Again, like Brick said, the guy came out of nowhere and is getting millions of views, which sometimes going like, how does that happen? And in just the little lighter things, Montgomery Whitewater Park, it's getting warmer out there in Montgomery, Alabama. This isn't a lazy river. It's a fast-moving wild ride. It opens March 21st. The Hootenanny Spring Kickoff. And Six Flags is the sell 7 parks in North America. Mark, you want to buy me some land? I'll take it. I know I could bet that land would grow some stuff. And if you need a job, this is not the Onion. Wendy's is offering a chief taster officer about the role. Company Wendy's. The pay is $100,000. The location is remote, travels light, start ASAP. All you need is a mouth. Credentials, a mouth, a pulse, opinions, creativity, a taste. Here's the link to, it's in their comments to apply. Just listen, this is on their Wendy's chief officer test. They all just want you to video yourself, because they want to make sure that you're comfortable in front of a computer, and bada bing, you can get your own job as a taste tester for Wendy's. And let's see, this day in history, which I hit the button way too quick for. (1869), Dmitry Medvedev's periodic table is first presented. 2016, Nancy Reagan died in L.A. 1986, Georgia O'Keeffe was well known, died at age 98. 1981, journalist Walter Cronkite is best known as the most trusted man in America, signed off as the longtime anchor of CBS Evening News. 1964, boxer Cassius Clay took the name of Muhammad Ali, which was given him by a spiritual mentor, Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam. 1957, Ghana became an independent nation led by Prime Minister Kwame Nkrumah. Any independent movement is fantastic, should be applauded. 1927, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who won the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature for his novel Cien Años de Soledad, 100 Years of Solitude, was born in Colombia. 1924, the Egyptian government opened the mummy case of King Tut. 1899, German company Bayer trademarked the name aspirin for its drug made for you shouldn't take it anyways. 1857, U.S. Chief Justice Roger Taney announced the Dred Scott decision which ruled that an enslaved man, Dred Scott, who had resided in a state where slavery was prohibited, was not entitled to his freedom, that African Americans could never be a U.S. citizen, and that the Missouri Compromise was unconstitutional. Remember, that's U.S. Chief Justice. That was in the North. The decision was widely agreed, particularly among constitutional scholars, become one of the worst decisions ever rendered by the Supreme Court. Again, up north, wasn't a Southern thing. 1853, Giuseppe's Verdi's opera, whatever, premiered in Venice. 1836, the Alamo in Texas fell to Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna after a 13-day siege. It was memorialized by the popular phrase, "Remember the Alamo." 1834, Toronto, now the financial and commercial center of Canada, was incorporated. 1820, U.S. President James Monroe signed the Missouri Compromise, which allowed Missouri to be admitted in the Union as a 24th state. The legislation marked the beginning of the sectional conflict over the extension of slavery that led to the American War for Southern Independence, which was not about slavery. 1619, French satirist and dramatist was born in Paris. 1473, Renaissance artist Michelangelo was born in the Republic of Florence. Notice it said the Republic of Florence. Republic. Italy was decentralized. Then it became unified. Anyway, you'll see if you check out my book I just put out. Nation. I mean, if I type that up, it gets into exactly that. It's sort of like chapter 3, I think it is. It goes with Italy, France, Canada, and more. Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the night. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend. It's going to be nice out for most of us. Happy St. Thomas Day tomorrow. Today, absolutely happy Saint Perpetua and Felicity feast day for all you. But anyway, have a great rest of the weekend. I'll see you Monday for Black Pill Monday, and God bless. Thank you very much.